So tonight we're going to go ahead and check out Givenchy Gentleman Absolute, which is a fragrance that I've really been enjoying lately. And to be honest with you guys, I've been enjoying a lot of these Givenchy fragrances. I've been a big fan of Givenchy Gentleman Cologne, which is released that came out over the summer. I've been a fan of Givenchy Gentleman EDP, which is a fragrance that I just recently picked up, but I've really been liking as well, especially here in the winter. So since I've had so much success with this line of fragrances, I've wanted to dive into it even more. So we're going to be looking at, again, Givenchy Gentleman Absolute, which I don't see that much talk about. The main one that I see talked about the most here, at least on YouTube and in the community, is the EDP, Givenchy Gentleman EDP, which, if you don't know, is a fragrance that smells like Dior Intense, Valentino Uomo Intense. I've already done a review on it. You could check that video out. But I really want to cover this one tonight just because there's something about this one that I really do like. And one comparison that you'll see quite often is that it's kind of similar to Spicebomb Eau de Toilette, which we have right here. So that's what we're going to be doing today. I'm going to kind of discuss if it's similar to this one, if it's not, and I'm just going to run you through the whole scent itself and tell you really if it's worth picking up or not. I do want to hear your feedback though. If you've tried Givenchy Gentleman Absolute, let me know what you think down in the comments. Do you like it? Do you not? Do you think it's a good Spicebomb alternative? Let me know your thoughts down below. And then, of course, while you're at it, I do appreciate you hitting that subscribe button down below. Also turning on post notifications and giving this video a like. And now, let's go and jump into it. So starting off with the opening of this fragrance. When you first spray this one on, you will get somewhat of a Spicebomb Eau de Toilette comparison. Although I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it is a clone of Spicebomb, or that, you know what, let's get rid of this thing. I'm not going to tell you it's a clone of Spicebomb, and I'm not really going to tell you that it smells that much like it. Again, there is a resemblance in the opening, mainly from that cinnamon note that you pick up on, but it's not by any means a clone or something that smells identical to Spicebomb Eau de Toilette. What I mainly get in the opening is that cinnamon note along with some nutmeg and a nice warm soft vanilla note, which gives it like a nice sweet undertone. There's a little bit of a soft sandalwood in the background as well in the opening, so you kind of get a whole bunch of things at once here. It smells really, really pleasant off the opening. And again, what I like about this so much is the fact that it's not that close to Spicebomb. There really isn't that in-your-face, overwhelming spiciness that you get from Spicebomb Eau de Toilette. You don't get that in here. What you get is more of a laid-back, more rounded-out, mellow type of smell. It's almost like Spicebomb Eau de Toilette, but tamed way back and a little bit sweeter, more emphasis on the nutmeg and the vanilla, versus with Spicebomb, you're getting a lot of that cinnamon and a lot of that pepper. But the way the cinnamon and the nutmeg comes across in this fragrance, that's kind of, at least to me, what's going to give you the similarity to Spicebomb Eau de Toilette. So it is there, ever so slight, but it is different enough that it is kind of its own thing. Now, do I think Givenchy kind of modeled after Spicebomb Eau de Toilette DNA? Yeah, I would say they most likely did, right? Because there is a resemblance there. However, they didn't just straight up copy them. They didn't just try to clone that DNA. They kind of took a hit at it, and kind of one way you can think of it is all the blue fragrances, the big blue fragrance craze going on here with all of the different ones out there. They all smell pretty similar, right? But they all are also different in their own way. So that's kind of how I view this one here. It's almost like they were just trying to take a shot at that very successful Spicebomb Eau de Toilette DNA. And I think they did a great job of getting in that same ballpark, but also giving it a nice twist, making it something different, and also making it to where it isn't redundant. Now, as it starts to dry down, you start to notice that Spicebomb comparison a little bit more, or at least I do. The main reason why is because everything's settling down, and what you're left with more so towards the dry down is that cinnamon and that nutmeg. The vanilla is still there, but it doesn't come across quite as sweet and warm like it does in the opening. There is still a little bit of it there, but not quite as much. So could you say it gets you a little bit closer to that Spicebomb DNA in the dry down? Yeah, maybe a little, but again, it still doesn't have those differentiating factors to where it kind of is still doing its own thing. So when can you wear Givenchy Gentleman Absolute? This fragrance really would be a great winter fragrance, fall and winter mostly. In terms of situations, you're going to be looking at more casual to kind of fun party scene to maybe evenings out if you wanted to. Those types of situations. I wouldn't wear this one to work. I wouldn't wear this one to school. Night outs, parties, casual, maybe on dates if you wanted to. That's kind of going to be up to you. Although if you're choosing between this and another Givenchy fragrance for a date, I would go Givenchy Gentleman EDP any day of the week for a date. But this one still can work. So it's going to fit into the category of it does just about everything, except I wouldn't go formal with it. So I wouldn't wear this to work. I wouldn't dress this one up. Those sort of things I would leave to some other fragrances. But this one is going to be good for about anything else. So more or less, it's going to be kind of your laid back, casual, fun type of fall and winter fragrance, basically kind of like what Spicebomb Eau de Toilette is. So it is going to be pretty versatile, and you will find that you can wear this fragrance for a lot of situations in the fall and winter time. At least for me, I've been able to wear this one quite a bit, and I've really enjoyed it as well. It's honestly a scent that I've ended up liking more so than I thought I was. When I was looking on Fragrantica, looking at the notes and all that stuff, I was thinking, okay, it's going to be really close to Spicebomb. That's going to be repetitive. I don't really need that. But once I got my hands on it and I really gave it quite a few proper wearings, I started to realize this is actually something pretty nice here, and it's kind of more different than Spicebomb than what you may think and what other reviewers may say. So what I do like about this fragrance is it does add value, right? It's not straight up copying something else. It's adding something of its own on top of a pretty successful type of DNA. So I think that's pretty cool, and I definitely respect them for doing this release. I don't think it was a ripoff of anything. And honestly, I think Givenchy has been on a roll with these fragrances. Like I said, Gentleman Cologne, a killer summer fragrance that really shocked me as well. Gentleman EDP, again, kind of their take on Dior Homme Intense, Valentino Uomo Intense, but still different. And this is kind of the same thing here. They're basically looking at these popular fragrance DNAs and just kind of adding their own touch to it. Now let's go and talk about the performance, and this is where it starts to let me down a little bit. On my skin longevity, I've been looking at on average about 7 to 7.5, 8 hours. So it's not bad by any means. However, projection is where it does lack a little bit on my skin. This one doesn't want to project off of me, so it does stay pretty close. Not a skin scent, not a full-on skin scent, but it doesn't really get outside of my personal bubble, at least with normal wearing. You could get this to project if you go with 7, 8 sprays maybe or something like that. Then you're going to be pushing out. But I typically don't like to wear that many sprays for normal everyday wear, just because that can be annoying to myself and everyone else around me. Typically, on average, I'm going anywhere from 2 to 4 sprays depending on what fragrance it is. And with that normal spray routine with this, I wasn't getting it to project very much. It laid pretty close to the skin. It would project a little when I first sprayed it on, but it would die down really quick. So longevity is pretty good, 7, 7.5, 8 hours, but projection could be better. So it's definitely quite different there compared to Spicebomb Eau de Toilette, which is a very, very strong projector and also a fragrance that lasts a very long time as well. So they didn't quite go after the performance like Spicebomb Eau de Toilette. This one's a bit more refined. Honestly, that's pretty cool, just because Spicebomb Eau de Toilette is so loud and so strong that makes that fragrance even less versatile because of how strong it is. But with this one, again, it's kind of a take on that DNA with something different and refined performance, so that you can wear this one in more sensitive situations, so to speak, where you don't have to worry about filling up a room. You can kind of be a little bit more discreet, a little bit more under the radar with this fragrance, whereas with Spicebomb Eau de Toilette, that's basically impossible. Compliment factor on this one is pretty good as well. Again, it's modeled after a DNA, which is very successful in terms of mass appeal and getting compliments, so you don't have to worry about that there. If you're wearing this fragrance in the fall, in the winter, when I think it's best suited for, it's going to kill it because it has this warm, cozy type of smell, but also with this slightly edgy and bad boy spicy type of smell, I guess is one way to put it, which is pretty cool. They're kind of mixing warm and sweet with something a little bit more daring, so to speak, because of that spiciness, that cinnamon and that nutmeg, giving it some punch. It gives this fragrance some body and some depth, while also still having like a warm, sweet side as well, if that makes any sort of sense. So it's kind of a good balance there. So this is a fragrance that's going to be very successful in the mass appeal department. I would say most people around you are going to like this fragrance just because it's a DNA that works. The quality of this fragrance is great as well. Again, Givenchy has not let me down in terms of their quality, of their scents. They've all been fantastic. I mean, honestly, these kind of smell like they could be in the upper tier of designer fragrances in terms of pricing, which we'll get into now. This one's going to be running you about $50 or so on discount websites. So we'll have a link down below to whatever discount websites it's available on as of right now in stock. I believe both FragranceNet and FragranceX has them. I don't know 100% for sure, depending on when I film this video and when I release it. I will have them linked down below to wherever it is available. But yeah, it's going to be riding around that $50, maybe $55 range for a 100ml bottle like this one. Somewhere in there, which is a great, great price. And again, that kind of leads us back to the title of this video, which is an affordable Spicebomb alternative. Is it that? In my opinion, I say absolutely. I think this would be a nice alternative to Spicebomb. And again, I want to stress that I'm saying alternative here. I'm not saying clone. I'm not saying, straight up replacement. But I do think it is something that you can substitute in sometimes instead of wearing Spicebomb. So I don't think this one should kick out Spicebomb and you should never wear it again. And I don't think vice versa either. I think this could be something that you could wear alternatively to Spicebomb if you want something a little bit more refined, a little bit more smoothed out, perhaps a little bit more mature, and overall just kind of less in your face. So more sensitive situations, you could wear this fragrance and it's not going to be right up everyone's nose. So overall, for the price you're paying and the fragrance you're getting, I say it's a great deal. It's a great scent. I really enjoy it. I'm glad I picked it up. And honestly, I'll probably find myself wearing this more than the original Spicebomb just because I like the fact that it is a little bit more laid back, a little bit more well-rounded. It's overall just a bit easier to pull off. And it also is a bit more enjoyable to my nose when I'm wearing it just because the original Spicebomb can get pretty strong when you're smelling it on yourself. And again, that's why I like to wear fragrances. I like to smell them on myself, and smelling a bunch of Spicebomb for extended periods of time can kind of get to a point where it's just too much. This one is a bit more warm, refined, and I really like it. So guys, that's going to do it for me. That was my review on Givenchy Gentleman Only Absolute. Again, make sure you let me know down in the comments what you think of this fragrance. And of course, this fragrance will be linked down below to wherever it is available to get at the best prices. So make sure you check it out down there. That's going to do it for me, guys. I'll see you tomorrow night with another one. Take care.